Hi, my name is Darby. I decided to do the Chaldean Culture for my culture project, and this is my friend Angie.
Hi.
Alright, so we're going to ask you a couple questions about your culture, and you can answer in whatever you see fit, your traditions, or, what your family likes, or what you like, specific foods you like. So, one thing I was wondering, what is, like, your favorite type of culture-based food?
One food that we have a lot, like on holidays, is called dolma, and it's stuffed grape leaves, and it's stuffed with rice and like seasoned beef, pretty much. And we eat it like heated up on the stove, and some people eat it cold, but that's the way.
So is that like
we
a
have it.
Chaldean tradition?
Kind of, yeah.
What's your favorite like Chaldean restaurant?
We go to Sahara a lot, and we like getting like hummus there and garlic dip, things like that. We get like rice, chicken. I mean, kind of normal things there for the most part. My mom cooks more traditional food at home.
If your family all gets together for Christmas, what are some typical foods that you could expect?
Well, we usually always have dolma there because everyone likes it. And then my mom will make like different kind of, I don't know if they're like stews, I guess. They are served over rice, and it's like a tomato base with beef, and then different vegetables are usually in it.
So after talking with Angie and getting her suggestions on a restaurant to go to with Chaldean food, which was Sahara, me and my grandpa went to go there on Friday, but they were a little packed. So we went to Anita's Kitchen, which is a Lebanese restaurant, and Sahara was Lebanese and Syrian restaurant. And Angie said they were really close together since Lebanon is right next to Syria, so it's very similar food. It was really different than what I was used to. I usually eat kind of like American food. I go to McDonald's a lot, but it was really interesting to experience not only like the food, but kind of the environment of the restaurant. It was really modern and clean, and it seemed like they took a lot of pride in their food, and all the waitresses were Chaldean or looked like it at least. Um, I noticed on the menu they had a lot of beef and a lot of lamb was another one of the things that was definitely on the menu a lot. Gyro. There's a lot of rice, and one of the things that I really liked was the hummus they gave us with like this pita bread. And then there was another type of white dip that I thought was really good, and they said they made it with butter, some mayonnaise, and apparently it was a tradition, and they always serve it there, and everybody really likes it. So I ended up getting spinach pie, and my grandpa got the chicken shawarma, and they were both really good. So it was cool to experience that type of food, and I learned a lot kind of about what they eat and why they eat it. I guess it seems like a lot of a tradition. After talking to Angie, it seems like that's what her mom did and what her mom's mom did and her mom's mom. So it seems like they really put a lot of effort into conserving their ancestors' traditions and what they ate and what they believed in.
What religion is like your family, and what religion are you?
We're Catholic, and all Chaldean people are Catholic. So
Is there a reason why?
I'm not really sure. It's just like gone back so far in time. I mean, my parents were born in Iraq, and they were raised Catholic, and then they came here, and yeah.
So do you go to? Is there like services that you go to?
Yeah, we have Chaldean churches. There's a few in the area, so we usually always go to a Chaldean church. We can go to other just regular Catholic churches, but we just prefer it.
Is the pastor Chaldean?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and they
cool.
do like Chaldean services.
Do they speak in Chaldean?
Yeah.
They do?
They usually do a Chaldean service in Arabic and then in English for like younger people that don't understand the language.
Okay.
After talking to Angie, I did some additional research online to see if there were any other types of religions out there for Chaldean people, and it really seemed that the majority was Christian Catholic, and it really is very concentrated back to one origin, where I found this pretty interesting article, and part of it that I wanted to highlight was this quote that says, Chaldean Americans are a highly religious people proud of their Christian heritage. According to legend, they were converted to Christianity by the Apostle Thomas on one of his missionary journeys to the East. Another interesting thing I found in that same article was that 95% of the Chaldeans in Detroit can all trace back their origin to a single town, and that was called Tel Kaif. And I thought that was really interesting because this religion seems so strong with the Chaldeans, and I now understand why, because they're all so tied together with their origins and where they came from to be able to have 95% remember their grandparents talking about that and telling stories about how they came to be Catholic and preserving the religion. In part of my interview with Angie, when I asked her if is there a reason why you're that religion, she said something really interesting that was,
is there a reason why?
I'm not really sure. It's just like gone back so far in time. I mean, my parents were born in Iraq and they were raised Catholic, and then they came here, and yeah.
So when she mentions that she's not really sure why, it's just that her parents were born in Iraq and they were raised Catholic, and they came here and they raised her Catholic when they had her. It kind of reinforces the idea that this tradition of this Catholic religion is just passed on to their children and future generations. So to answer the question, why are most people of this faith, and is there an event that led them in this direction? The kind of plain and simple answer to that would be tradition. Their parents were Catholic and they raised them Catholic, and they hold it very close and dear to them, and they are very, it seems like they're very devout about it. A lot of the Chaldeans I see are always wearing, cross necklaces, or they have the rosary hanging in their cars, so they are very passionate about it, which is really neat to see being passed on.
What type of music do Chaldean people usually listen to?
We listen to Arabic music, so usually at our parties and our weddings we'll have Arabic music playing, and it's kind of just like upbeat stuff. We always like to dance, so anything that we can dance to.
What's your favorite Arabic song?
I like an artist, her name's Nancy Udrum, and I like mostly all of her songs, pretty much.
Are there any concerts that you've been to that were kind of Chaldean based that you remember?
I haven't, but I know my parents have.
Oh yeah.
And the Chaldean singers will come here for concerts and stuff, and I know they do it in Las Vegas a lot too, so my parents have gone to see them there.
So this song was called Boosie Boosie by Nancy Udrum, and that was the artist that Angie mentioned was one of her favorites, and I did listen to that with her in my sister's apartment where we filmed the interview. And it was, when I first listened to it with Angie, it was kind of interesting because it was like not really what I expected. I guess I've never really heard Chaldean music, so I don't really, don't really go to listen to that when I turn on the radio. But it was interesting to hear. It definitely differs from my favorite music. I listen to everything, country, rock, EDM, dubstep sometimes. So it was really kind of different than all of those in the sense that it was very minimal. Some of the instruments used was a little bit of strings, almost harpish, and then heavy percussion. So a lot of it sounded like hand drums. And then aside from that, it was really focused on just the singer. It was definitely cool to be able to experience that new type of music. I would definitely say it didn't appeal to me, although it was kind of catchy. And, admittedly, it was kind of fun to dance to. But definitely not something I would listen to every day. I kind of like more bass tones, more electronic music. Something with more of a smooth rhythm. And the rhythm in that was very... it was very upbeat and bouncy, and it seemed like you could dance pretty easily to it. Traditionally, the music of the Chaldean culture is Chaldean music or Arabic music, very similar in terms of instruments with percussion instruments and kind of minimalistic. The singers kind of like the spotlight, and it seems like a lot of similar instruments are shared throughout Arabic or Chaldean. Very kind of choppy music and also a lot very consistent beat to it.
So, are there any special traditions that your family does?
Well, in our culture, what I can think of right now is when someone gets engaged, they usually have a party, and they'll bring the priest in and they'll bless the engagement. And then a lot of people will have like henna parties, so someone will come and do the henna tattoos on the hands and things like that.
Is there a reason behind the henna?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
It's just like a.
Yeah.
So in that clip, we can see that Angie isn't quite sure why henna is a tradition in the Chaldean culture, but I did some research to find out why. So I found this article that kind of explains what Angie wasn't sure about when it comes to henna and doing engagement parties and why they do that. And one of the important quotes that kind of explains that says, "Permanent tattoos in the Muslim world are greatly frowned upon, which makes henna a very popular alternative that dates back hundreds of years and is steeped in tradition. Henna makes it easy to get a tattoo without it being against Muslim tradition, since they only last a few weeks. These beautiful, intricate designs are applied mainly to young women to glamorize themselves. Older women will also sometimes wear henna to their husbands after their wedding and during the ceremony." One of the traditions that I thought was really interesting was the henna tattoos, because I've always known that what they were. I've seen them sometimes, but I didn't know where they originated from and what they meant. So after getting to do this further research, after talking with Angie, I really got to find out where they came from and why they're here. They started out as a Chaldean tradition for marriage and engagement ceremonies as kind of a sensual option for the female to wear for her husband or fiance. It was also really interesting to see that tattoos are kind of against Muslim views, which is why henna is so popular with Chaldeans and Arabs, etc. And it's very different from my own culture and traditions because being Caucasian and I don't know, mix of Polish and European and whatnot, we don't have any kind of views like that where we can't get tattoos. There's really no religious restrictions when it comes to religion or what that entails. Like, I'm a Christian, and because I choose to be, not because my mom was and she raised me that way and took me to the church. I kind of decided on my own, and that was accepted by my family, and I was able to follow my beliefs, however which way I interpreted those, and if I wanted a tattoo, I could get one. So it's not really against any cultural beliefs for me, more of just opinional views of my parents and whatnot. But it's really interesting to see how the Chaldean people hold these common values and traditions so close, and you can see that pattern throughout a lot of the people in that culture.
All right. So what type of clothing do they wear at this special events or traditions?
They usually wear like the long skirts. They're like decorated. They have the shawls going across their chest and a lot of pretty colors.
Unfortunately, I was not able to attend any events where this traditional Chaldean clothing was worn. After talking to Angie, there wasn't very many popular events that they actually do this stuff. It's not very a public thing. It's not like the Day of the Dead thing where it's like, oh, we can go to the festival and see all the traditions. So it's kind of a more downskilled, but still very important to them nonetheless. And as she mentioned, their shawls with the really bright colors was really interesting to see in some of the older pictures and historic photographs of the Chaldeans back in the day.
Alright, so are there any other traditions that your family or your culture does?
One other thing is when someone passes away, usually really, really close family members will wear black for a certain amount of time. And if it's someone really close to you, you're supposed to wear black for a year.
Like
But
every day?
Every day for a year.
Wow.
But some people do it in like increments, like 3 months, 6 months. I mean, it just depends.
What if somebody asks why they're always wearing black?
Just tell them. I mean, not everybody gets it, but it's just like a traditional thing.
And that concludes my cultural video. Thank you for watching. I had a great time and I learned a lot.